Hello and welcome to a special episode of Research Matters podcasts. Why special? Well, today I, your host, Aishwarya Viswamitra, will be covering the top 10 stories published during the year 2019 on Research Matters. In fact, if you head to the Research Matters website, there's a consolidated list of these articles for you to peruse through. But listen to this podcast first. Let's jump right in. Number 10 is worth the listen. Did you know that about 6 in every 1,000 children screened in the world are born deaf? And for every 200 of them, only one speech therapist is available? The situation is even worse in countries like India, where most people are poor and health services are not readily available. But guess what? A group of researchers from the Indian Institute of Science, Bengaluru, have designed a hearing aid that can offer substantial support, especially in the Indian context. They have designed a simple smartphone application to offer therapy, integrated with an affordable hearing aid. The prototype of this hearing aid costs about 5,000 rupees, a third of those available in the market today. Like many technological advancements in the last decade, the newly developed hearing aid can be connected to a smartphone application via Bluetooth. In the hearing aid mode, the ambient sounds are amplified and processed to enable the child to hear clearly. In the therapy mode, pre-programmed audio clips available in the application can be accessed, and therapy sessions can be conducted by the parents or caretakers of the child. The system is being designed to support multiple languages, English and Kannada to start with. Looks like we have things to hear forward to in 2020. Number 9. Speaking of electronic devices, all electronic devices that we use today have components made of semiconductors. In recent years, gallium nitride, another semiconductor, is making its way into electronics as it is better suited for high power and high frequency applications. A group at IISc have developed India's first ever E-mode gallium nitride powered transistor, whose performance is comparable to some of the best reports till date. It has better performance and power handling capacity than similar devices proposed by other researchers, some of which are now in the market. In the light of this ongoing innovation by the team in IISc, the researchers are discussing a proposal with the Government of India to set up a commercial gallium nitride semiconductor foundry in India. Number 8. Did you know that India is among the top 3 exporters of cotton worldwide and has the largest area under cotton cultivation? However, productivity is comparatively low and farmers face massive losses due to recurring pest attacks. Because of this, most cotton farmers resort to chemical pesticides, sometimes using hazardous, banned or counterfeit pesticides. Researchers at the Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, Indian Institute of Management, Nagpur, and Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi, have analyzed available data on pesticide usage to study changes in pesticide expenditure among cotton farmers in India, and reported how it differs according to factors such as land size, ownership, and irrigation. The researchers found that there was a decrease in the pesticide cost as a share of total expenditure in current cotton cultivation in 2012-13 compared to 10 years earlier. However, the price of cotton seeds has increased during 2012 and 13. The researchers attribute this pattern to the widespread use of BT cotton, whose adoption remarkably increased in the last 10 years. However, the emergence of resistance to pink bollworm and attacks from secondary pests such as jacids and aphids form farmers to use more pesticides, thus posing a challenge in reducing the pesticide expenditure. The researchers advocate the need to reduce cultivation costs, regulate the quality of cotton seeds available in the market, reduce indiscriminate use of pesticides, rethink the use of long-duration cotton hybrids, provide formal financial services, and finally, educate farmers on locally relevant agricultural practices. Number 7. The word winter has become synonymous with smog, and due to stubble burning being a common method of clearing rice fields to make way for wheat, the air pollution in cities has gone up in cities like Delhi, where the air quality is already the worst in the world. But hope is not lost. In 2017, researchers from the Nature Conservancy met with a few collaborators from different institutes in India to find alternatives to the crop burning practice. A new study finds that using Happy Seeder, a machine that can sow wheat in the presence of rice straw, is actually profitable for farmers and can also help the environment. The researchers also found that the use of Happy Seeder reduced agricultural greenhouse emissions per hectare by 78% or more relative to burn options. Since there's an immense opportunity for India to cut down on air pollution and greenhouse gas emissions from stubble burning without affecting farmer revenues, the researchers urge the government and the private sector to play an active role in increasing the adoption of these no-burn practices. Number 6. Do you have any New Year resolutions? This year I might have loaded my plate with unhealthy food one too many times. A study by researchers from the GBD27 Diet Collaborators raised the alarm on the need to change our eating habits. The study found that globally, 1 in 5 deaths in 2017 were associated with poor diet. By investigating the food habits of adults over 25 years of age across 195 countries between 1990 and 2017, and then looking into death rates from non-communicable diseases in these populations, the researchers calculated the number of deaths and disability-adjusted life years, or DALYs, attributable to diet for each illness. DALY represents the number of years lost due to ill health, disability, or early death. They found that globally, the top 3 factors leading to the most fatalities and DALYs were the high intake of sodium, low consumption of whole grains, and low intake of fruits. In fact, low intake of whole grains was a leading dietary risk factor for deaths in few countries, including India. On the brighter side, our consumption of legumes was well above the optimal levels, and that of processed meat and sugar-sweetened beverages were in the healthy range. However, the levels of trans fats present in hydrogenated vegetable oil and sodium, whose principal source is table salt, were alarmingly high. But don't worry, diet is something that can always be corrected and its effects reversed. Given that the story made it to the top 10, our readers must understand the role health plays in our lives. We're at the halfway point, number 5. With mass extinctions and climate change at our doorstep, it is truly amazing when a new species is discovered. A team of researchers from the Indian Institute of Science, Bengaluru, were attempting to study and classify snakes in the Western Ghats when they discovered a new species of vine snake that dates back 26 million years. Its name is Prohatula antiqua. It is endemic to the southern Western Ghats. When the researchers studied the evolutionary tree of the snake, they discovered that the species had diverged from other vine snakes about 26 million years ago, making it not only a new species, but also it belonging to a new genus. The discovery not only helps us know more about the evolution of vine snakes, but also the evolutionary history of the Western Ghats, which is a landmass older than the Himalayas. The discovery of an ancient species like this one brings to light the diversity lurking in this country. The new species faces no major threats at the moment, and that is always good news. Number 4 is another health-related one. I'm sure you know what high blood pressure means, and that it contributes directly to cardiovascular disease. In recent years, cases of high blood pressure or hypertension has increased, and those living in low and middle income countries are the most vulnerable. A recent story explored the relationship between high blood pressure and long-term exposure to ambient particulate air pollution. The study examined over 5,000 participants living across 28 villages around Hyderabad, and they were surveyed to determine their lifestyles, socioeconomic status, and household aspects like the type of cooking fuel generally used. Upon measuring the systolic and diastolic blood pressures and estimating their exposures to fine particulate matter, the researchers found that the annual average of ambient fine particulate matter was significantly more than the limit set by the World Health Organization. It was larger by 13 micrograms per meter cube. This is not good, especially since the results revealed that an increase of just 1 microgram per meter cubed causes significantly higher systolic blood pressure in women. The researchers say that they cannot rule out the possibility of unmeasured contributing factors to the observations and need to follow up on the study participants over several years, but efforts definitely need to begin to mitigate air pollution policies. Number 3. A microprocessor is an integrated circuit that contains a few millions of transistors fused on a semiconductor chip. Though it is just a few millimeters in dimension, it is used in almost every electronic device, from the microwave and washing machine in our homes to advanced supercomputers of a space station. However, developing and manufacturing a microprocessor is not easy at all. The process is expensive, risky, and needs skill. Hence, only a handful of companies across the world have been able to manufacture and sell microprocessors successfully. Enter Ajit, AJIT, the first ever microprocessor to be conceptualized, designed, developed, and manufactured in India. Developed by engineers from the Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, this innovation could not only reduce the country's imports, but also make India self-reliant in electronics. Ajit marks the first time in the country's history where the industry, academia, and the government have come together. There are tougher challenges ahead for the team to make the processor commercially viable. The effort can only remain sustainable if it is used by many people. The researchers also plan to introduce Ajit to academia to expand its reach and provide graduating students with a hands-on experience. Make way for Ajit. We're at the final two. This year has not just been a year for great stories. In fact, the top 2 stories were about awards given to Indian scientists. Talk about our readers being personal cheerleaders. This year, 2 Bengaluru scientists shone on the list of Padma awardees. They were Professor Rohini Godbole, a particle physicist best known for her work at CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, and Professor Sharada Srinivasan, a renowned archaeologist at the National Institute of Advanced Studies, or NIAS, Bengaluru. Professor Godbole's work on high-energy photons could form the basis for the next generation of particle colliders, used to study the fabric and composition of the universe. Guess what? For the past 3 decades, her work has resulted in more than 300 research publications. Professor Srinivasan's significant contributions, including archaeometric characterization of bronzes using lead isotope analysis and archaeometallurgical studies on ancient mining and metallurgy in southern India, have been covered by Research Matters in many articles before. You should definitely check them out. The accolades don't stop there. Dr. Neena Gupta, an associate professor at the Theoretical Statistics and Mathematics Unit of the Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata, has been awarded the Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Prize 2019 in the field of mathematical sciences. That is even more impressive given that she is the youngest Mathematical Sciences SSB Prize awardee in history. Recognized for her contributions to affine algebraic geometry, especially in proposing a solution to the Zariski cancellation problem, she points out that till 2019, there have been 547 Bhatnagar awardees, out of which only 17 were women. This trend is seen in most awards, so given that the 3 awardees we spoke about were women, we have a dual reason to be proud. Our hearty congratulations to them once again. With this, we come to the end to the Special 10. Thank you for listening to this episode of Research Matters Podcast. See you next weekend. For more such podcasts and news, please log on to www.researchmatters.in.